Hello and welcome to the First Issue Club comic book podcast. We call ourselves this because we're a podcast that talks about first issues every week.
I think we've picked the perfect idea for a podcast.
We nailed it.
I know it's a hot take.
And Nerds is cool now.
Nerds is cool. Official First Issue Club t-shirt, Nerds is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, in the 3 to 4 years that we've been doing this, 1 week, no first issues came out. So we always have material to jab about.
Isn't that bonkers?
It's pretty crazy.
Okay, you are.
Greg.
I am.
Mike D.
America.
America. That's from 5-0, right? Nope. That's from West Side Story.
I almost did a spit take of my delicious Space Camper beer, the most precious beer in the universe, coming to you straight from Boulevard Brewing Company, our favorite brewery, not only because we're the official podcast of Space Camper IPA.
No.
But because it just tastes great.
It's delicious.
We'd be drinking it anyway. It's so good.
And folks, it's official. We are post-Turkey Day 2021.
Yep.
That means gift season is here and staring us right in the face.
Nigh upon us.
No better gift than a
Sixer
of Space Camper IPA from Boulevard Brewing Company.
Yeah.
It makes any holiday party a certified banger.
You go to a white elephant thing.
Mm-hmm.
You bring a sixer.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be like, you brought the best thing.
Oh, for sure. You'll
Right.
be heralded as king of the White Elephant Party.
Totally.
I do have a suggestion, though. If you get the Sixer of Space Camper, while you have it before it gets stolen, technically still your gift.
Just start drinking
You
it.
could drink them. Start drinking them.
Lick them all.
Yeah. Make sure that you leave with those Space Camper IPAs.
Lick those lids. No one else is going to want to take it.
Or it's so good that they can just look right past it.
Maybe.
And they'll go, oh, that's fine.
I've got plenty of hand sanitizer.
I want that Space Camper IPA. It's
I'll
that delicious.
Just dunk it in there.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any comic book news?
Yeah. I finally watched Shang-Chi.
Okay, great.
Loved it.
Great movie.
On our Patreon, you did a rundown of your top 30, or like your new listing of the MCU universe.
With Eternals and Shang-Chi integrated into this new list. where they
Correct.
sit.
And Shang-Chi made your number 13.
Yeah.
I would place that just about there.
Would you? Okay,
It was
great.
really, really good.
Yeah.
My only qualm was the ending way too CGI heavy.
Oh, sure.
It kind of took away a
From,
little
like,
bit of
cool
it.
martial arts moves could have
Right.
been in there more.
Right.
Now, you haven't seen Eternals yet.
I have not seen Eternals yet.
Okay. I'm interested to see where you put it above or below. I think I ranked that 2015
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I have the TV shows in that list too.
You do. It's a really great list. So
But you got to be a Patreon member to hear it.
And once again, gift season's right around the corner, and no better gift for your nerd in your life than a subscription to our Patreon.
I tell you what, I'm going to reevaluate the list once Hawkeye is finished.
Have you watched it yet?
Yes.
You want to talk about it?
Maybe let's save some Hawkeye conversation for the Patreon.
Okay, we're going to secretly give a thumbs up, thumbs down right now in front of each other.
Okay.
Find out what we thought about it on the Patreon. Ooh.
Okay.
Spicy.
Any other good comic book stuff before we get into our books?
Mark Brooks just actually announced that he signed an exclusive deal with Marvel to be like cover A artist for a new book that he can't announce.
Ooh.
So that's exciting
Okay.
because Mark Brooks is a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And just draws these amazing pieces.
Totally.
I don't think this is out of the realm of sanity for me to say, but I think Mark Brooks may be an upcoming Alex Ross for
right.
Marvel.
Sure.
You know, Alex Ross can't be doing this forever. And they're like, let's get Mark Brooks in the wings here.
Okay, last time I saw a picture of Alex Ross, he's looking spry.
Yeah, he's not old.
He's not
by any
old,
means.
Which is crazy because you think about just how long he's been around and the breadth of work he's created.
Right.
I expect him to look like a decrepit old man by now. He's
Yeah.
in his like 50s maybe, like early 50s.
Maybe.
But man, he's going to be at it for a while still. He's the king of covers,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Do you share the same opinion?
He.
I don't want to put you
Hold
on
on,
the
hold
spot.
on, hold on. You're saying that Alex Ross is your favorite cover artist.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I can
I think
agree to whatever.
I'm saying he's my favorite cover artist. I'm also saying he's the greatest cover artist of all time. He's the GOAT of comic book covers.
Yes, that's an agreeable statement for me. Yeah.
It's at least not an insane thing to say to another comic book fan.
No, and it's based off consistency, product of work, and the amount of covers he's done.
Right.
Like, over all publishers.
Yeah.
So, if anyone else has a problem with that, they can get fucked because, like, you're spitting facts.
You're gonna. I'm trying to think about like other people who might even like step into that realm. Obviously, like
I mean, Kirby. Kirby did so many impressive covers.
right.
He's the king.
But here's the thing: we're now in a phase or period of comics wherein you've got choices,
Mm-hmm.
and Jack Kirby did comics when there weren't choices.
When it was Jack Kirby and someone else.
I think it's unfair to put like Eisner and Kirby and some of these like just classic artists
Right.
in with new people in this conversation. So like, yeah, duh. Steve Ditko's done some like fucking banger ass covers that would like are just hot classics that still slay to this day.
Right.
I don't know if I'd necessarily count them in this conversation just because covers mean a different thing in this era.
The ratio didn't exist
Yeah.
in the old heads era.
Right.
And Alex Ross has to compete with newer artists, changing tastes,
And yeah, right.
and ratios.
Am I like, so we're starting to see more people who it's like their gig is doing covers. I mean, Peach Momoko has done 5 or so one-shots.
Mm-hmm. And that's about it.
But is like one of the most well-known comic book artists there is,
Mm-hmm.
solely based on having done covers
Right.
for comics,
Right.
mostly variants, not even A covers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's amazing to have reached that echelon, I guess, with fans so heartily across the United States so quickly. Not
Right.
just the U.S., but has she created near the breadth of work to rival someone like an Alex Ross? Not yet.
No, and
If you're let me say too,
yeah, go ahead.
if you're a porn person and you like hot covers,
Mm-hmm.
then there are other cover artists that you're like, this is my guy.
Yeah. Are we not talking about Dave Stewart anymore? I think, well, and like no disrespect to Peach Momoko or Rose Besh or any of those
No, I
newer
think
artists, but
the,
like,
the fact that they would even be part of a conversation and they've only been doing this for like 7 years or less
Mhm.
is like,
It's a great compliment.
it's a great compliment.
But the reason that some artists get popular for covers is they have a new style. It's a bit flash in the pan, and just like it's a trendy like artist coming in, and they get hot for a few years and they fall off.
Yep.
Alex Ross is just known for creating these magnificent watercolor, kind of very hyper realistic covers that seem timeless even while they're coming out.
Yes.
And so that's why I think he's just achieved such relevance in this
Sure.
ever-changing comic landscape.
Who knew this intro was going to become such a celebration of the man himself, Alex Ross?
Happy birthday, Alex, if it's your birthday. If not, we missed it.
He may have come up because he did the A cover for our first book,
Ooh,
Black Panther #1.
it's a wraparound.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
I mean, come on. When you're putting that much work and detail into the backside of a comic,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it right.
You're just a fucking pro.
So this newest volume of Black Panther is written by John Ridley. He is a celebrated writer,
Mm-hmm.
wrote 12 Years a Slave, or at least the screenplay of it.
Right.
He's not to be fucked with.
No, not in the writing world.
I always think it's fun when people like this jump into comics. I don't know that he's written many comics before, but it's really cool to see him come into this realm. My general curiosity, or like the first thing I think of, is how is this person going to do writing a comic book? Are they going to seem and feel like a comic book writer out of the gates? It's its weird own medium.
Mm-hmm.
What's your first impression or take on that?
Well, we went through this when Ta-Nehisi Coates did the Black Panther run that just ended, and kind of this book references to that.
Yeah, hugely celebrated novelist, has written tons of books that I'm sure you've read or heard of.
Yeah. So I was on the fence about this because Ta-Nehisi kind of stumbled with his initial Black Panther run, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to see that again with a newer screenwriter that has turned to comics. I mean, John Ridley has done some DC stuff. He did a book called The Alternate History
Yep.
of DC Comics, which is really, really good. I didn't know how that would transition into Black Panther. For the most part, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're going to get some kind of espionage spy thriller initially. That's cool. There was some stuff in there I was kind of like taken aback by because, we always forget that T'Challa is a king and like a singular ruler.
Yep.
And so when democracy is introduced to Wakanda, he kind of sees it as a stumbling block.
Yeah.
And getting in the way of getting
things done,
stuff done for Wakanda.
Right.
And, he makes these comparisons of just like, it goes a lot smoother when there's one person in charge and his sister's just like, you just described a dictator.
Right, yeah.
And he kind of shrugs. He's just like, hey,
that's what it is.
Is what it is.
Right.
Like, it gets done.
Yep.
And he says this line where he's just like, dictators make no illusion of what they are.
Yep.
And when you get democracy, it turns friend into foe or something along those lines. And I was just like, well, not wrong.
Yeah, right.
By any means, but I have yet to see like a friendly dictator. You know what I mean? Maybe it was like Santa Claus, perhaps. But I mean, I can't make that rationale in my head of just like, oh, a king is a good idea, or oh, a dictator is a good idea.
Yeah.
It just seems like it just like absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
I wonder if we're seeing that a little bit with T'Challa of just like, if I was in charge, this would be all fixed. And it's like, well, you're altruistic. Not everyone else is. We have to just kind of fix the system.
So much of the themes in this book were just power and how you handle that and where your priorities lie.
Right.
He's expected to be a leader in this super team and has to step away to handle his business. He's supposed to be a leader in Wakanda and has to step away to handle his business. He's supposed to be a leader on an intergalactic scale. He's taken with the whole Ta-Nehisi Coates run, has taken Wakanda into outer space.
Yes.
And he can't be there for that as well. And he finds himself wrapped up in these responsibilities that he had himself set in from decisions that he made as the leader or king from a decade ago. And he's trying to find all these like spies that he set up whose lives are now in danger and save them and pull them out. So it's the leadership thing is certainly a thread throughout this and in multiple layers, which makes this immediately a complex, interesting story. I do think one thing that this book had that I was like, okay, John Ridley is probably a real head and is like reading fucking comics, is that it did like immediately start with the Avengers and acknowledge Black Panther's involvement and the place he holds there.
Right.
And wrap a couple other continuity things into the book where I was like, yeah, for sure.
This guy gets it.
Like, I felt super grounded right away. I knew where T'Challa was coming from and where he'd been and how he found himself in the immediate situation he's in now.
Right.
And then we transitioned him into this small, like, Jason Bourne style,
right?
Like, action
James Bond
adventure thing, which was like very fucking cool.
Right.
And at the end, it teased where it's gonna go with this really cool splash page where like, I am ready. Like these three big bold words were like isolated out of these like three panels. And those three panels kind of showed you where the story was going to go. One of which was the, I always say this wrong, the Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje.
Milaje fighting the Black Panther. And then one was Storm and some of Excalibur coming to Wakanda and being like, who knows if they've got beef, if they're there to help or what.
Right.
And then there was a third one that I'm kind of spacing on.
I think it was the Avengers.
Was it the Avengers?
He was fighting Steve Rogers.
So there was some comeuppance with the Avengers where they were having beef.
Yeah. This book was surprising to me because in the last episode, we had talked about that Hulk and Black Panther were coming out. and we were like, what's the most anticipated of these two? What's gonna be good? What's gonna be bad? Like, what's the hot book gonna be?
Yeah.
And I had speculated that this book was gonna be the hotness because we had John Ridley coming in, and I kind of wanted him to press those buttons and to kind of push back a little bit. And to some extent, he is doing that. He's making T'Challa this person that is a very not. The term I don't want to use is bend not break. He's not bending.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically just like, you're doing it my way or we're not doing it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why he walked out of the committee meetings. It's why he walked out on the Avengers. It's why he put those sleeper cells in every part of the country. He's like, I know the best way to do this. And if you don't like it, get fucked.
I'm the king.
I'm the king. And like, that's a tough pill to swallow for a reader. Because as I'm reading it, I'm just like, if you would have talked this out a little bit more with somebody, you would have realized there's a different way to do things. But like, this is a very much like Cold War aspect of thinking. Like, you hear about the Russians sending KGB spies over to America. America sent spies over there.
Yep.
And it's like, it's mirroring that part of our history where it's like we've stopped doing it. It's like when countries send spies to other countries, like it just feels like dirty pool. Like it just doesn't feel good.
I just love the whole thing that he's got so much pride that he's like, this was my problem that I've created.
Yeah.
And these people that I love are in danger. I've already lost someone I consider a brother.
Right.
That I'm personally going to fix this shit.
Right.
Like, that's what, and I don't know if the storyline is like a 25-issue thing or this is the first arc of Black Panther, but whatever it is, I'm into it.
I really am too.
Yeah.
And I don't think these 10 spies were given like a name or a code name or something.
Well, we don't, do we know for sure a number? Is it 10?
He said 10.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that
and
is.
Now one's dead.
So now we have 9.
And one is working with him right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Wakanda suits they transform into
Uh-huh.
is like all black, but like a skull imprint on the outside.
Very fucking cool.
Fucking sick. It is the sickest looking
The costume design is sick. Yeah.
It looks so awesome. So visually, it's stunning.
Yeah.
And like story wise, there's definitely intrigue and like you said, like Jason Bourne, kind of like this noir like spy shit, and I'm into it. I mean, we've just seen Black Panther come back from space, so it's good to put him in these small personal stories. So I'm here for it. I'm
interested to see if this is running parallel with the Avengers storyline or not. Like I've said before that I'm reading Avengers on Marvel Unlimited.
Right.
Because budgets, y'all.
But they be crazy.
I can't buy everything. So I've got to wait of like 6 weeks, 2 months or whatever to read new Avengers books. And I think it'd be really cool if this kind of tied in and Black Panther was like, yo, I got to dip out and do my own shit. And that was part of the continuity of the mainline Avengers thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think it kind of is. I know that Jason Aaron is about to kick off with Avengers 50, like
big landmark, and we're hitting 750 too, aren't we?
But so I think they're doing like
the
alternate universe
next week
stuff.
Is 750.
I think totally is. I think it totally is next
as
week.
This podcast comes out, it'll be today. Yeah,
a little behind the scenes footage.
There's a lot of variants with She-Hulk, so I'm excited because I think I don't know, one, if it's just because of the show, or two, if it's because there's going to be some major comeuppance with She-Hulk in this storyline.
I know that the new She-Hulk series coming out in January, she's in her old form.
Yes.
She's not in Berserker mode anymore.
Right. So does she switch back?
Something must happen because in this Black Panther book, we see a picture of She-Hulk with the rest of the Avengers.
Yep.
And she's still in her Berserker mode.
Right.
So I think something must happen.
Right.
And, I mean, does this lead right into Hulk conversation? We talked about She-Hulk.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're never going to hit a better transition than this, brother.
Damn near perfect. It's like we planned it.
Donny Cates and Ryan Otley are taking over the Incredible Hulk. I mean, this team needs no intro.
Nope.
You know they're coming. This was a big to-do on Free Comic Book Day where we got kind of the prelim starter story for this book.
Yeah, did you notice that? None of the stuff we read in the free comic book day comic was in the comic book.
No, it was all
but it was
preliminary story.
referenced.
It was referenced, yeah.
And you're like, if you didn't read the free comic book day
Yep.
book, you kind of got, screwed.
Yep. This book, I'm a fan.
You are?
I've traditionally been, and I thought I was like, I'm such an Al Ewing fan.
Right.
That when he switches over to Venom, Venom's going to be my new book.
Right.
And Hulk was my book for the entire Immortal Hulk run.
Yeah, you're a self-proclaimed
Immortal Hulk freak.
Yeah.
But this Immortal Hulk, new Incredible Hulk book, I definitely enjoyed more than the new Venom book.
Now, talk me through that. What triggered you that was just like, this Hulk book is right up me alley?
The premise of what if the Hulk was protecting us from Bruce Banner.
Making Bruce Banner the villain, genius.
So cool. And it's true. I mean, there have been storylines throughout where people are like, you know what? Fuck Bruce. Like, he's selfish. He's a maniac. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, he's a scientist and a genius. And those two things together usually spell out, like, airborne cancer or some weird shit. Like, robots that can only survive off of human flesh. Like, those people always push the boundaries, sometimes in good ways, most of the time in bad ways.
Totally.
And it's just like, that's Bruce Banner. And, like, without the Hulk fucking up his daily life, he would have more time to be in the lab creating terrible shit.
Yes. Now, is this new Hulk a creation of his that's, like, the worst thing he's created so far? Potentially. So, the more specific premise, beyond what we already discussed, is that within Hulk's mind palace or mindscape, Bruce has managed to compartmentalize a few different aspects or a few different of the Hulk's personalities. So he's essentially, Bruce Banner has become the pilot of the Hulk.
Yeah, think of the Hulk as like a Gundam or like Voltron.
Yes, exactly right. And he's got this, the free comic book day book, if you missed it, is the Hulk breaking into an AIM headquarters and stealing a certain bit of technology. This unit that gets attached to his head that maybe helps Bruce Banner control and compartmentalize those different personality pieces.
I would assume it's some kind of like brainwave controller that allows him to be in a constant Hulk form, but still have the brain of Bruce Banner with the ability to control the insides and outsides of the Hulk.
Right. We're sort of like, imagine Professor Hulk, but he's taking advantage of and using the other personas of the other Hulks that we've seen.
Right.
So
we only saw one though, right?
The Hulk we know and love best is essentially the fuel for the whole thing.
The Rage Hulk.
Wherein his rage fuels the engine and he can gear it up and down by controlling the
AIM tech that he hijacked.
Yeah, the AIM tech, and then like putting different stressors, I guess, on this Hulk, where it's like showing up as like armies or different emotional stressors that poke and prod at him that create more rage. And so he can dial it up or dial it down whenever he needs to use that.
Right.
And throughout this book, we've got his longtime love interest. And so I was surprised to see Betty is it Betsy?
Betsy Ross?
Betsy Ross. Thunderbolt Ross's daughter.
Yeah.
That Betsy is someone he's hallucinating. That is his kind of like moral compass.
Right.
So she's judging him and he's just like, get out of my head. And then she just like fades into nowhere. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is a scene taking place in a mindscape, not
he's totally lost.
Yeah, he's like totally unhinged.
Yeah.
And that's my takeaway from this is that Bruce Banner is fucking unhinged.
Yeah.
And he's got a weapon at his disposal.
Right.
That we're really separating him from the Hulk and saying, what if this deranged, self-absorbed sociopath had wrecking ball monster power?
Yeah.
What would he do with it? And then the book snowballs from there.
It's kind of like a weird adaptation for Marvel of The Shining taking place inside the Hulk's head. Like, Bruce Banner is the Jack Nicholson character, just slowly losing his mind in a labyrinth that he's built for himself. And, I'm really enjoying it. I'm kind of watching with anticipation to see if we see that he has control over the other Hulk identities in his brain, and he can press buttons to enact Mr. Fix-It or the leader or anything like that. And then it makes the Hulk do something else crazy. So the possibilities are endless. I'm glad that Donny Cates didn't just completely abandon everything that Al Ewing has done for the last 4 years with Immortal Hulk. Like, he's definitely building off of that, which is super smart, because with the previews that we got before this book was released, a lot of people were concerned. They're just like, well, this is going back to just Hulk bullshit. Like, this is like smash and grab dumb comics. And
no, it's bigger
typical
than that,
Donnie's
for sure.
just like,
yeah,
I tricked you.
I have more plans.
I fucking tricked you.
If you know me, you know I have a plan.
Yeah.
It's very cool. He hijacks this like celestial technology at the end that like Tony's fucking with.
Yeah.
To make this like Iron Man Gundam.
Right.
So he's kind of jumped into some like nether region to hopefully like harness this insane celestial power.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you can imagine, probably not good for us if Bruce Banner gets a hold of this. So I'm just loving the unhinged Bruce Banner side of this.
Yeah, and when he jumps into the portal in the Iron Man Celestial, he's basically just like, Tony confronts him. He's like, listen, you can't go in there.
Yeah.
Because we don't know where you'll go.
Yes.
And Bruce is just like, good, because you guys don't want me here anyway. I'm like a liability, so just let me fucking go into this portal. And, he goes in. It's kind of like the, what's the Event Horizon moment. You're just like, where we're going, we don't need eyes thing. It's just like, if I explode, I explode. If not, I gain this ultimate power.
Yeah, and part of it is like Bruce's self-importance, saying all I want is more.
Right.
And then the other part of it is his altruism, being like, I'm going to destroy myself or remove myself so far from the situation that I can't hurt the people I love anymore.
Yeah.
So more internal battle stuff with Bruce and his other personalities and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Hulk stories great. You could say more of the same, but I think the situation and the way they presented that through line is so different that it's a perfect merriment of honoring what the Hulk story is at its core and, taking it to brave new horizons. So I'm super excited for where this book will go.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Everything that Donny Cates has touched on Marvel has just exploded.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. And so, I mean, jump on the book, because you're going to go on a great ride.
Sure.
With his Venom stuff, with his Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff, his Carnage stuff, like, all of it has been phenomenal. His Thor stuff right now.
There's always a big plan.
Yeah. And so get on the ground floor with this one, because I'm thinking he's going to take it into some pretty bizarre places.
Yeah.
And with Ryan Otley, holy shit, the dude drew Invincible for so many years.
Oh, there's a scene wherein Iron Man has managed to like clench the Hulk's fist into some sort of like trap or contraption, and to escape, the Hulk just overpowers his like body to just rip his own arm off to get out of the thing.
It is brutal,
because he's like, I'll fucking regrow an arm. I'm the Hulk.
Right. I'm immortal, baby.
And that scene was very cool. So
yeah, I think Ryan Otley's gonna have open range to do more of those scenes, because
some great like dope ass gore and stuff like that.
And like when the blood is green, I think it's easier to get away with.
Sure.
And like, if your mom or dad finds this comic, they're not going to be like, what the fuck is all this? He's like, Mom, it's just green stuff. It's not blood.
Whereas the Joe Bennett stuff was like, this is fucked up.
Yeah. This is pretty cryptic.
This guy's demented.
For more than one reason, we found out.
Oh, totally. I know. Well, I think that does it. I feel good about our conversations.
Yep.
We've had 2 banger Marvel first issues this week. I don't know which one I'm more excited for. I'll say Black Panther is comic that I've always appreciated,
Yeah.
but I've never been a mega stan
Right.
of any particular run of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of really feeling that first issue more than I might have felt this first Hulk issue. So I'm excited.
I think I'm excited for both of them the same, but in different ways.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the Hulk just go crazy and like just see some wild visuals.
Yep.
And for Black Panther, like I love the espionage angle of all this.
Yep.
It seems really awesome.
Totally.
So I'm pumped. I think Marvel, surprise, surprise, they got some hits.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you next week. And if you can't get enough, join us on the Patreon.
Right now.
Bye. First Issue Club is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company via Space Camper Cosmic IPA. Our music is courtesy of the fine folks at Primary Color Music. You can find, friend, and follow us on social media at First Issue Club or firstissueclub.com. You can support First Issue Club by joining us on our Patreon for additional content at patreon.com/firstissueclub.